So, folks, there is a guy named Michael Knowles who, he really cares about women's sports. He's talked about women's sports nonstop, all the time, all day, every day. He loves women's sports and wants to protect the sanctity of said sports. So obviously, he highly values women's sports because he wants to protect women's sports from all enemies, foreign and domestic, as well as imagined, like trans people. And well, he also wants to protect women's sports from women, apparently. Let's take a look at this because I find it fascinating.
The ladies of the WNBA have debuted some new game wear. T-shirts that say, "Pay us what you owe us." Now, for those of you who don't follow the WNBA, which is another way of saying all of you, you might not know that the WNBA is a subsidized sports league. It does not earn enough money to pay its players, so it has to be bailed out by the NBA, which lots of people watch, to the tune of $10 to $15 million annually.
So again, right off the bat, he's already just like, none of you guys care about women's sports. We all understood that this was just a cudgel to use against trans people. Anyway, let's go back to hating on women's sports. We can all agree that women's sports suck, right?
All of which brings into question the ladies' capacity, not just for basketball, but also for basic math. Because if the women were paid what they are owed, they would earn significantly less each year. Plenty of people have observed and made fun of that fact. What no one seems to understand is that the women's publicity stunt has almost nothing to do with money. I'm Michael Knowles. This is The Michael Knowles Show.
Oh my God, what is this? I've never actually seen the intro to his show. Is the premise that he lives inside of an even bigger elevator? Like he takes an elevator into like this freaky, I don't know, steampunk room? I could swear to God that I have watched the intro to a Michael Knowles show before. I don't remember that. I genuinely don't remember him ever doing what's essentially the do you guys remember Tropic Thunder?
Let the Chaos Goblin energy run free.
Yo.
Dilberito.
Salmon Moose, thank you for the 10 tier 1 subs.
How can we all have died at the same time?
Here, Tom Cruise doing the dance in Tropic Thunder. It's just weird and awkward.
Welcome back to the...
Also, sorry. So it begins. Salmon Moose, thank you very much. That is truly foul. Empirical, what are you doing? Empirical, why did you do this? Why did you decide to make a Doritos liquor? Why? It's so bad. Don't buy it for your friends as a novelty gift. Don't do it. I tried it, and it's only come back to haunt me in ever more terrifying ways.
Show 1 in 4 Gen Z workers regrets attending college. It's a show.
Oh, okay, we don't. Let's just jump to the actual story because I'm genuinely interested in his take on the WNBA because I think it really demonstrates how full of shit the conservative opinion on like women's sports actually is.
T-shirts in the half-empty stadium, at least half-empty stadium. Pay us what you owe us. There it is. Dozens of people looking on. Well, not really looking, just kind of walking around, not paying any attention, blasé as could be. What's this about? Pay us what you owe us would mean that they make a lot less than they are paid because they are paid with charity from the NBA, which makes so much money because so many people watch it that the league actually pays the ladies because no one watches it. What exactly are the ladies rebuking with these T-shirts? A lot of people think they're rebuking the league for not paying them.
Wait, is he actually like confused about this? Oh shit, this is gonna be funny as hell if he doesn't actually know what the issue is.
What they're worth. That's obviously not the case. I think it's deeper. I think at a deeper level, these basketball ladies are rebuking the fans, or the lack thereof, the people who are.
Oh my God. Dude, he doesn't know. He doesn't actually know. He doesn't know what this is about.
Took me 2 minutes to find out that the WNBA has never turned a profit is because the league owners fudge the numbers to avoid paying players.
That is a huge part of it, Nomi Sunrider, but like the players wearing these shirts is even like more of like a, oh, when you understand like one of the basic premises of them wearing these shirts. And I want to see if Michael Knowles actually arrives at an answer here, other than, I think they're wearing these shirts as a way to, get back at the men who've oppressed them. It's misguided feminism. Like, I'm wondering, like, if he's going to actually have anything substantial here at all to back up his point, or is it just, let's all hate women's sports together?
Or not fans, pay us what you owe us. Well, they can't be paid what they think that they're owed because the league doesn't bring in any money. The league doesn't bring in any money because you're not watching it. You! Statistically, 100% of people that I'm talking to right now, both listening and watching this, do not watch the WNBA. So it's a rebuke of you. You owe, in these women's minds, I'm quite confident, you owe them your eyeballs. You owe them your attention. And at a deeper level even than that, this is a rebuke of reality.
Holy shit! Pay us what you owe us is a rebuke of reality itself. You cannot even begin to comprehend how little the universe owes you. You are peons playing in the hands of Atlas, revolving in a universe in which you know not but dust and chaos. Or maybe it's like they have actual material concerns that like they are presenting and trying to get attention for, and you're just too dumb or too ignorant to actually provide.
The women feel as though they are owed something that reality is contradicting. They think that they should be a really popular.
I love that. He literally just said that. He literally said what I said. I said it in a hyperbolic way, but he just said what I said. They're saying that they are owed more, and the universe itself is contradicting them. So they're really not owed anything when you think about it. And when you really think about it, none of us are really owed anything because nothing matters. We're all just on this rock floating through space. Wild, huh? Anyway, buy my cigars, please. It's my job to rob you all blind.
This man is dumb. The WNBA spends a little over 9% on player salaries. Every men's league is closer to half.
It's true, Paladin.
Popular sports league, that they should be as big and famous as the NBA. But they're not, because they're women and the NBA is full of men. And watching men play basketball is much more interesting than watching women play basketball because men are physically much, much stronger than women and faster and more agile, and women are not. And so what this is a rebuke of is reality, which despite 60 years of feminism, centuries of feminism, really, if you go back...
Centuries of feminism?
...to Mary Wollstonecraft, despite...
Hell, why even stop there? Why not millennia of feminism? Go all the way back to the Isle of Lesbos.
All that feminism, men and women are still different, and men are still better at certain things than women are. Women are better at other things than men, but basketball is one of the things that the men...
What does that even mean, man? Like, how cooked, how impoverished a worldview, how small a mind this man has.
That's really what this is about. The resentment that you see in the pay us what you owe. These people, they make more money than a lot of people do, at least. But the resentment you're seeing is not really a resentment for some basketball executive or even...
You know, again, I do have to point this out every single time. All conservatives have is projection, right? Like, Michael Knowles is basically one giant ball of resentment formed into a vaguely humanoid resembling homunculus. You know, he's a failed actor who is so bad at acting that, like, he had no career until he got hired by the Daily
Sports are more
Wire.
interesting when they're men's. Strong, agile, sweaty, handsome men.
Yes, Daddy.
I've never watched men's or women's basketball.
Sometimes I wish the elderly would just die. For the audience, it's a resentment of reality. And if your ideology, this is the final point on it, and it's applicable to everyone out there. If your ideology leaves you resentful of reality, as all leftism and liberalism do to some degree, you should probably find a different ideology. This is what Mark says in the 11th.
This is honestly insane. He's not even talking about any of the actual issues.
Fun fact. The gay scene starring Michael Knowles was actually found footage, and there were no actors present.
They really got an organic feel in that movie.
Thesis on Feuerbach. He says, philosophy until this point has sought to understand the world, but the point is to change it. But you can't really change the world because the world is as it is. Nature is as it is. And it's...
Oh, okay. Yeah, people can't change the world. Pay no attention to climate change, folks. Pay no attention to the massive cities we have built or the landscapes we have destroyed or the people we have annihilated or alternatively held up in high esteem. Yeah, people can't change the world. Don't pay any attention to history. Don't do that. If you do, that worldview falls apart.
It's immutable. So if you want to have a good life, you can understand the world and live within it.
Well, keep in mind, Archangel, one might say simple evolution might disagree with his opinions here, but I almost guarantee you that Michael Knowles doesn't believe in evolution.
Now, speaking of philanthropy, speaking of charity.
Oh, okay. So he's done. That was the entire segment. All right. Fun stuff. So you know how Michael Knowles basically said, these women, they want to get paid? These women, they just want to get paid?
For argument's sake, let's say he's right. Does someone have to be good at something for it to be interesting to watch them do it?
No!
I mean, Knowles isn't good at commentary, but watching him try is still hilarious.
Exactly. Like, unironically, some of the best movies of all time are terrible pieces of shit. You know, like some of the most entertaining things out there are bad. Some of the best sports matches feature immense fuck-ups. One of my favorite, like, professional StarCraft 2 matches ever involves a massive fuck-up from one of the players. And, like, that's what makes it interesting. Like, to say the skill is all that matters, not necessarily, really. Also, thank you for the $20 super chat, Arthur. Very much appreciated. God told me girls were bad at sports. Yeah, exactly. Have any of you seen Troll 2? It's incredible. A titanic form of art. Now, I do want to share a few things with you guys. Now, one might imagine that Michael Knowles has the ability to Google basic pieces of information about the various stories he chooses to cover, but I guess in this instance, he only chose to Google like an image of the women wearing these shirts, and like that's all he could find here, and was like, oh man, look at all those women wearing t-shirts. How presumptuous of them, how rebellious of them. Well, let's take a look. Why were they wearing those shirts, everybody?
Dr. P. Projector here, inventor of the world's largest projector. Michael Knowles borrowed my invention and I need it back. He stopped returning my calls and just texted, I've been rebuked by reality.
Gamer G, thank you for the $5. Dr. P. Projector, thank you very much for the $5 dono. That you guys... fucking golden text-to-speech comments this stream. So, as Paladin Lost pointed out previously, WNBA players are paid 9.3% of the league's revenue. So all of the money that the WNBA makes, players only get 9.3%, not even 10%, 9.3%. All right? That includes television deals, tickets, merchandise, etc., right? How does that compare with the NBA, for example? Well, the NBA splits revenue 50-50 between players and owners. So, in the men's league, you have men making 50% of the revenue from all of the deals. In the WNBA, they make less than 10% of all of the deals. So even if you're saying, well, the NBA is bigger, so like obviously.
Watching Michael know less for information is like playing Donkey Kong Bonanza and expecting to not have a great time with potassium.
Suck it. Thank you for the 5 tier 1 subs. I really appreciated the Donkey Kong Bonanza reference. We understand that like there's really like, we're not talking about the raw number of like what each player's salary is. Right? We're talking about what is the revenue split of the leagues. And for no obvious reason, the smaller league has over one fifth, less than 1/5 of the revenue split compared to an NBA player. Now, why is this? Why is this? Well, largely because the WNBA has a collective bargaining ability. However, because of the more precarious nature of these athletes, because they make less money, they have less collective bargaining power. And going into October of this year, they're undergoing right now negotiations to increase their wages, to increase the revenue share in the league. And one of the things that's really interesting about this is that, well, Michael, if you believed Michael Knowles, sight unseen, the WNBA obviously doesn't make any money. They're just all women, am I right? Well, just as an FYI, in 2024, that's last year, the WNBA signed a $2.2 billion media deal for broadcasting the WNBA. $2.2 billion. With 3 different expansion fees of $250 million, meaning almost $3 billion went to the WNBA. And they are launching 3 new teams in Cleveland, Detroit, and Philadelphia. Now, one might be forgiven for asking, wait a minute, why would one launch new teams if no one is watching these sports? Well, here's a fun little press release that was released late last year, actually, from the WNBA. Let's take a look. It's titled, WNBA delivers record-setting 2024 season. Most watched WNBA regular season on ESPN platforms ever. Set single game attendance record and highest total attendance in 22 years. All-time records for digital consumption and merchandise sales. Let's take a look. What does that translate to, huh? This was the most viewed regular season ever across ESPN platforms with an average of 1.19 million viewers, a 170% increase from last season. That is a phenomenal rate of growth right there. Well, that's maybe that's a fluke. Maybe that's just ESPN. Maybe. Let's see. CBS Sports delivered its most watched regular season ever with an average of 1.1 million viewers, up 86% from last year, as well as the most streamed season ever on Paramount Plus. That's crazy. Ion averaged 670,000 viewers, up 133% from last season. So notice here, the trend of growth is very large. That $2 billion covers 11 years, so it's really a $200 million deal. A $200 million per year deal with an additional $750 million to expand the league. Again, that's a lot of money. The idea that, with that amount of money, how can you possibly give the players a 50-50 revenue split? Well, that's just bullshit. That's just bullshit. Oh, wait, what's that? What's that? Oh, the WNBA had its highest total attendance in 22 years, up 48% from last season. The league's 154 sellouts marked a 242% increase from last season. I'm sorry, the idea that no one cares about women's sports, no one watches women's sports, no money is made on women's sports, it's all at a loss in women's sports. It's just not true. It is just not true. Genuine question, if the WNBA is so big, then why do I never see anyone talk about it or see news coverage about it? You absolutely do in mainstream media. I think probably the circles you run in aren't big on sports. For example, I'm not particularly big on sports. I just don't watch a ton of sports, not my thing. But people who do watch sports, if they love basketball, they also generally are going to want to watch the WNBA because guess what? They're also very talented players. So all I have to say is very clearly there is a growing audience for this. Very clearly there is a lot of money being made off of this. And very clearly, the WNBA can afford to pay the players what they're worth, commensurate with what they make. If the men's league is making 50% of the revenue, the women's league should make 50% of the revenue. It's not difficult math. Yo, RBJ in chat, why do I love homies rants? Because they're good. Because I make good points. I went to a Minnesota high school girls championship game and the two teams hit 9 3-pointers in a row. It was amazing. Yeah. People get really into like college sports. People get really into like high school sports in like their local areas. Like people don't need to be playing at the tippy top of
If the conservatives
world
really cared
athleticism.
about women's sports and hashtag winning, they'd watch and pay attention to the U.S. Women's World Cup team. The men's team sucks.
That's true. Honestly, where are all the men's rights activists demanding better men's soccer teams? Okay, where are all the MRAs? Where did they go when they were needed on men's soccer in the United States? They were nowhere to be found. They abandoned their duty at the time of utmost necessity. Serious question: what if sports wasn't gendered? I think there's probably a way we could do that. We could, like, I have no problem with like the idea of like separating sports divisions by talent or by weight class or something like that. Like, I think that'd be fine. So what you're telling me is that my basketball playing robot will not make more money than the men's due to their superior skill. Depends on the robot. I love all of the Minnesota like sports leagues talk going on in YouTube chat right now. Appreciate you guys. You guys are the best. Oh, damn. Sorry, I thought I had reached the end of this press release. One last point before we close this out. Merchandise. WNBA merchandise sales, both online at WNBAstore.com and the flagship location in New York City, were up a combined 601% from 2023. Merchandise sales at Dick's Sporting Goods increased by 233% compared to last season. That's nuts! They're literally sending multiple times over more merch out.
I'd love to see a detailed explanation from No Less about how estrogen makes you better or worse at chess.
I feel like I can already predict the argument, and it would go something along the lines of like women are more prone to emotional decision making, and therefore men are superior at chess. And the emotional women need their own league, otherwise they'll ruin men's chess and its pursuit of the logical ideal. I don't know. It'd be some horse shit like that. Were you ever graced with sports as a kid? I played Ultimate. I played Ultimate. I don't know if that counts. I don't know if that counts as being graced with sports. I just liked playing with frisbees. Anyway, Michael Knowles is a fool, a simpleton, and a buffoon, and we should all look at him with contempt.
Riverboat Jack is coming to town. All the viewers gather round. Twitch and YouTube is where she streams. All that content is bursting the seams. Politics, gaming, and plenty more. Her sense of fashion you'll adore. So grab your stuff and hop aboard. We're going straight to Jack's Discord. Riverboat